Hey, how you doing? Rego time for old Max, and I was pretty confident in him passing, but his front wheels are a little out of whack, like the balance and that sort of stuff, so he was balding on the side of the tyres and I knew that wouldn't pass. So in the last couple of weeks I've located second-hand tyres that were in really good condition and a lot cheaper than a brand new tyre, like $25 a tyre. So as part of my rego check, I asked the guys to take those tyres off the other rims, put them onto my rims, balance them and that sort of stuff, and also did my spare tyre with one of the ones that I bought. Now, one of the problems with Max is on the driver's side of him, all the wheel nuts are right-hand thread. On the passenger side, they're supposed to be left-hand thread. And if you go to the back wheel is a left-hand thread. Front wheel is a right-hand thread with different wheel nuts to the rest of the van. And that's obviously happened in the sometime in Max's past. Replaced either the whole hub or just all of the wheel studs. Anyway, while they were taking the wheels off, he said he was checking to see whether it was a left hand or a right hand because it's supposed to be a left hand. And when he used the rattle gun, he goes, no, that's getting tighter. So he switched them around and started taking off all the nuts. One of them snapped. Here's the little bugger. Here's his nut. So you can't actually see any of the thread on this one. And you can't see any of the thread on him now because it's stuck inside, it's snapped off. And these guys are really nice guys. They felt bad, but they also know that I know my way around a vehicle. I actually did my engineering work placement with them a couple of years ago, and he just said, look, just go up to the local Repco, that's where we buy the wheel studs from, that sort of stuff. Pop it out, put it in, all that sort of thing. So off I went. Bought myself another one, so he's going to have one shiny wheel stud and nut that doesn't match anything else. So I'm driving now with missing one stud, which I'm not really concerned about because of the way the hubs actually have they don't just rely on the nuts or the studs. They've got a central hub that locks into the rim, and it's normally got 6 studs on it, so I'm running on 5 studs. It's not like they're going to undo and let go of the wheel. But I'm going to have to do a bit of a repair job and put this other stud in when I get back to the house. Should be fairly straightforward. Let's see. So there's the missing bugger. And like I said, you can see I've got 5 other nuts. The rim's locked on with some little lugs that are inside there, so it's not going anywhere. I wasn't worried about driving home, but I just need to replace it. And just in case you're wondering, I have got my handbrake on. And I've got a couple of bricks under that back tyre, so nothing's going anywhere. By using this old pipe, have got leverage on the nuts rather than bouncing up and down on it. Feels like I've got another one which is a bit messed up. Very much so. looks like crap. It's an M12 1.5, so maybe I've got a thread tap that'll clean up that nut. And okay, longer job than anticipated because I can't get that into there, which means I need to unbolt the hub from the disc, which involves taking the caliper off, which is a much bigger job. Well, it's got to be done. Okay, so removing the caliper allows me to get to the bolts at the back of this so that I can take the hub off of the disc. Okay, got a feeling I need to take the whole freaking hub off. Been a long time since I've taken the hub off something. Okay. I say the bearings look alright. The outer one anyway. Good chance for me to redo the bearings with some new grease. They actually look pretty good. I get a rag. Okay, so far, in order to put in this one little wheel stud, I've had to remove the wheel, remove the brake caliper, remove the hub so that I can get to these nuts at the back of the brake disc, which allow me to remove the front of the hub so that I can get into here to put the stud in. Going by the condition of that one, yeah, that was the one that was really hard to get off because it's stripped. I'm going to knock that one out and make this a 2-day job. I'll start getting this undone, and tomorrow I'll go down, because the shops are closed now, go down in the morning, buy another one of those and replace that one as well. These are 14s. So, do they want to undo? Guess so. Might do them like a wheel nut. every second. It's amazing when you think about what's between you and the road on your vehicle. On 4 corners of this box that you travel around in, there's one nut with a set of ball bearings holding this to the axle. Then 6 little nuts that will hold your wheel to that. Kind of incredible and a little bit scary, if you want to think of it. If you really want to dwell on that sort of thing. So I want to get the brake disc separated from the hub. And there's a lot of rust involved holding this in place. So I'm going to soak it in a bit of WD. All of this area, all of these points here, it's just rust holding it all in place. So I guess I'll let that sit for a little bit. What looks like could be a good idea is to do my brakes while I'm at it. Go buy a set of brake pads and do them as well. Put a bit of bigger wood under it. More solid surface. That's coming. Yeah. You can see it's starting to separate. Just there. But it's got to overcome a lot of rust. Voila! So now I can get my brand spanking new wheel stud and tap it into place. Make sure it seats all the way. Yeah, like I said, I'll take that one out. Okay, day 2, or day 3 really, because I spent yesterday buying parts and travelling around. So I've got my 2 studs because I had to go and buy another one. They're in. While I was at it, I got a wire wheel on my grinder and just cleaned this all back and cleaned the disc back as well, so I'm not going to have as much issues with getting it back on because I won't have all the rust and crud in the way. So basically this bit just needs to go back on here, and it goes on much better without all the rust on it. I'll give these a little bit of a clean up before I put them in and get that on. And I've got some brake clean that'll clean all my greasy fingers marks off here. While I was out, I bought new brake pads, and I'm glad I shopped around because I got them for $30 for a full set. Now when you're tightening these nuts up, it's probably a good idea to do them just like you would wheel nuts and do every second. This has got 6 studs, so you go around and do the 3. Then I go to the opposite, and then every second. That just evens the pressure out on the disc. And there's no washers, so it's got to be a nice snug fit. I want to give this a bit of a clean, that inside bearing, and I'll put some new bearing grease in it. Just want to get any grit out that might have been sitting in it. That bearing is going to come back to this position once it's in. I'll get some grease into there. Get some clean grease in these as well. You'll also notice I cleaned up this bit as well. Can't remember if I said that now. Mainly so my wheel can go on cleanly and not have all that rust as well, and the hub can sit on there well. Just getting as much as the old grease off, but I don't want to put a degreaser on it because that sort of stuff will break down. Could break down any new grease I put in as well. But you want to pack the bearing with grease. Bearing goes in conically inwards. This washer's got a keyway on it. That's how it is. Keyway's there. That's basically go there. There's a nut that goes on the outside of that. Now with that nut, you don't want to do it up too tight. So you want it tight enough that there's no slack in the wheel, but not so tight that you're going to get it stuck. And then you've got this little cover nut. This little thing here goes over the top of the nut, and then you put a split pin down through one of these grooves. And that's going to be the tricky part, making sure that lines up. Perfect. Don't be tempted to reuse split pins, like this one's broken on one side, so try and make sure you got a new one. The only time you'd reuse one is if you're broken down on the side of the road and you've no other choice. That goes in. As it stands, that little thing is loose, but it's not so loose that your nut's going to come undone. Take your bearing cap, make sure it's reasonably clean as well. I'll put some grease, some more grease in on here. That'll help with any sort of movement anyway, in terms of friction.
that bit back on. New gloves because I don't want grease on my brakes. I want to use a bit of that for cleaning just spraying it onto the disc. Front and back. That'll clean all the grease off the disc. And just let that evaporate. Now I don't actually have a brake caliper compressor, so what I've just got is a couple of offcuts of hardwood and an F-clamp. I'm just going to slowly wind it in. Now I've taken the cap off my brake fluid cylinder, like the reservoir, so that there's somewhere for the fluid that's been squeezed back up the tubes out. Well, that's awesome. I've just noticed that my caliper is missing one little, just here. It's meant to have a little, kind of like a shim. Goes around the edge of the brake pad, and it's not there, so that ain't cool. But I think that might be enough. I'll just check my fluid reservoir. Having a look at the an old versus new disc pad. This one was just about ready to hit the metal, and new one has lots and lots of life in it. I'm having a look at it to try and gauge how far I've actually got to wind that caliper back in, and it looks like a fair way. And one thing I like about these pads I got is they've got this warning spring on it, so that when the pad gets low, this will start scraping on the disc and give you a little bit of a squeal, and you know what's going on. You replace them before they actually destroy your disc. So I'll loosen that off. Take the blocks out. You just got to make sure that your pads and their shims sit over those little lugs on the brake caliper body. That looks like it's enough to be able to go back over the wheel. I'll take this wire off that I had holding the caliper up. What do you know? That needed to be squeezed back a bit further. It's about as far as that boot should go in, so let's try again. Just don't forget that shim. There we go. Having the nuts ready would have been good. Bolts, sorry. Don't do them up too tight straight away. We've got 3 to get aligned. To replace wheel nuts or wheel studs. New brakes. All I've got to do is put the wheel back on. I want to clean that back a bit, and I'll do the other brakes later today because I've got to go out and do stuff. Thanks for watching.